So for the part of our programming assignment one, all we need to do is like set up a host wind server with all the related steps here given. We need to go into VPS hosting, select our server, install all the necessary GCC compiler and Java JDK and whatever we need for file servers and other stuff. Once everything is done, what we need to do is like we need to check the host connection on host wins from our terminal using SSH keys, set up everything and run the server on client side and on the server side both and see how the communication goes and whether they are working properly or not. So for the first part, I have set everything on the host wins. Here is my server which is actually running. By the way, it's very simple to create your own server and connect to it. And I've also set up my own SSH keys with which I'm trying to connect with the server from local machine. I'm using a Mac for the local development just in case. And if you see the IP address, which is 142.11.205.95, that is the same exact thing which you can find in the server.h file of our server code. We will be using both the C code and the Java code to see how the communication going on between the client and server, just to understand that no matter what the outlying layer would be, no matter what the language which we'll be using, either it's Java, C, or any other language which is available out there, the internal communication between the client and the server will run exactly the way how it's intended to be. So for the first part, I've cloned the code given on the programming assignment one. All I did in this code is just change the server's address to my IP address from the hostment server and set a port number. I've just taken the example what professor has mentioned in the class, just put in my date of birth. And the port number also has to be put onto the Java code. We don't really use the server address here. So this is the port number which we are using, the same one. So once we are here, let's do one thing. I'm using three windows of my terminal here just to be easy of showing how I did it and what I did it in entirety. So the bottom left one will be connecting to the host wind server. The bottom right would be my local machine, and the top one will be using for sending the files across. I've installed FileZilla to make the connection. For some reason, it's connecting sometimes, and there's been a lot of duplicate files which are sending into the host wind server. I'll fix that later, but for now, I'm going to use secure copy command from my local machine to copy the things into the server. Let's just connect to the server first. I'm using the default available SSH commands on terminal. I just use -y to give the interactive availability on that. All I do is like I have a username called root and give the IP address of the hostman server. It'll ask for password. It should become, yeah, we are. See, when you see rooted, that's the user and this is the server node which we have on hosted on the hostments. Just to make it clear, we'll clear it out. See what our folders are already present there. These are the basic things which we just installed in the software installation setup for the hostments. And LL will give you all the commands, so I'm just gonna use ls for the sake of easiness what we try to do. So the bottom right corner, as I told, will be my local machine setup. If you can see, that's my local path for the programming assignment and the folder of code which we downloaded from the canvas. All we have here is the files which were already given. All I did in that code is change the server address, port number on both server.h file and echo server.java file. Now to send those files to server, I'm just gonna use an scp command which securely copies any files from your local machine into a server node into the given paths. The -r is used for recursively copying all the folder contents rather than sending one file after the other. This is the path of the local folder where I have everything set up. If you can see here, this is the same one on the bottom right corner, and this is the server IP which I wanted to send, and I'm just gonna put it in the root folder. So if you do pwd here, you will be in the root folder, and once you enter this, it's gonna ask the password again. Everything should be copied. The .ds stores are the default files which are generated by macOS when you're communicating between Ubuntu and macOS. You gotta deal with it. So now here on the server side, if you see, we'll see two folders, which is the one with the code, everything. If you go into the folder and see, you have the same files, or you can do LL as well. We are gonna compile the C server code on the server side to create an executable called server, and see if it's starting up or if it's throwing some errors. So clearing it out, gcc client.c hyphen output. No, we need to do the server here. Server.c hyphen o with the output name as server. It's created. Now if you can see the ls again, we have an server named executable file. All you need to do is like run the file. We are up. The same side, what we need to do is on the local side, first we are going to see the C server and the C client communication part of the code. So I'm gonna build the client here on this part, which is my local machine. Just to be sure, I'm gonna show you again, this is my local machine. So GCC is created. If you can see, we can see the client which is already there. See, accepted client, and we have everything. 111.222 search NAOCS560 assignment. See, if it's longer, it's gonna take a second, but if you can quit, just disconnect it, and we can just run the executable again, and we will be connected again. Search attempt to connect. See, it's all there. Just quit it. Quit it on the other side as well. Since we already transferred the files, we don't need the top one. I'm just gonna close it out, and let's do it with the Java client as well. Go back to the root folder, see what files we have, compile the hold on a second. We are gonna Java server, sorry about that. So we will be using the same client which is written in C code on the local one, and create the executable for Java server on the server side. Go back to the root folder, ls java c echo server.java. It has created the executable. Let's see, the file has created. See, we have echo server.class file now. All we need to do to run that server, which is written in Java on the server side, is java space echo server.class. I made one. Oh, we don't need to specify the class to execute it. See, echo server has started, waiting for connections on port number 2893, which is the data bus which I have given. So let's run the client again to see if it is getting connected. Client is connected, and we do the same message here again. Search connecting from C client to Java server. It's all there. Great. and we just sit on waiting for the connections on the same port again once the connection is terminated. That would be all for this assignment. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Professor.